Good evening, everyone, and welcome to G Talks. And today's topic for the G Talks is let's talk about racism. Now, as we all know, racism is a touchy subject in the world, and racism unfortunately still exists in this world. And there are many reasons and justifications for racism to still exist in today's society. Now, with me today, we have Larry Manuela, who is from Europe, and he is going to share with us what he has found in his research in relation to racism, and also what we can share personally about ourselves and how to stop racism within ourselves. So, welcome, Larry.
Hi, Gian. Hello, everybody. So today we are going to discuss this race topic and see where we can come to a conclusion about solution and conclusion also about the race problem in this world. And I had made a little PowerPoint presentation so we can start off with the words that I have placed in the PowerPoint presentation and we can hit it off from there.
All right, cool. So, let's see your PowerPoint presentation.
Okay. Okay. So I start off with the word racism, asking the question: Is it a social construct or is it a economic construct? And as I've been watching few YouTube videos on this topic of racism, I was following this doctor that he is called Dr. Claude Anderson, and he is saying that regardless of what everybody else is saying, racism is basically an economic issue, an economic problem, and it is based on groups of people competing against each other to have control over land, resources, and the wealth. And based on that, he concluded that racism is about economics. And when the one race have so-called taken over the land and the resources, then they will use their power to suppress other races in this case. So that is the first slide. And then the second slide, I have what will happen when one group, for example, get all the land and the resources, and then of course when they have gotten all the resources in the land, then they use that to benefit their particular group they're in, and then the other groups or group, they will get no land, no resources, and will be the labor force to the winning group, and they will literally work themselves to death as it was in the old days when slavery was like chattel slave. And then we with racism, I put the concept as it were as Mr. Dr. Cloud suggested, the group concept happening on a group to group basis based on economics, and when one group is competing for the control of land, wealth and resources, and the use the acquired land, wealth and resources to benefit this group. And then I put the last slide, capitalism, because the racism and capitalism are very tied together. Because in the old days when the whole slavery started, they found out some systems that you could use, and that today has become this capitalism that we're now in. And capitalism is the ownership and control of resources, and then using the tools and the resource and land and the labor of other people to enrich oneself. So that is what we are going to talk a little bit about today and share some common sense about this problem we have in this world still today.
Right, cool, Larry. So
Mm,
basically, you're bringing it from the old day slavery where it was more race-based in terms of one race had the upper hand over another race, to where we are today, where it is completely about still the same point, money,
yes,
who's living healthy. It's just now there's less race involved and more money involved. Who's got what amount of money? So the
yes,
racism today is like a neo-racism. The new kind of racism is who's got health, who's got wealth, and who doesn't.
yes,
Where back in the day, it was easier to control the people through separating the people due to color, and within that, get one race to hate another race, and yeah, to enslave them and use them.
yes, exactly.
Because if I look at, for example, current society here in South Africa,
Hmm.
where racism is extremely visible, you know,
Yeah.
it's not hidden at all. The black people obviously say we hate the white people. They just even made
Hmm.
songs publicly, kill the boer, which is kill the white
Yeah.
person.
Yes. Yeah.
And there's a lot of discrimination going on in terms of farm attacks, where black people will deliberately attack farms and kill and
Hmm.
rape the women and children, and
Hmm.
torture the people as well, play with them, and then they won't steal anything. They won't rob the farm. They just leave and take a car, drive away with the
Hmm.
car, and burn the car down next to the road. And then you have
Hmm.
white people that still attack black people, that still beat black people
Hmm.
like they are still slaves.
Yeah.
So everyone is still in South Africa in this racism mentality, even though our social
Hmm.
structure obviously isn't racism anymore, because everyone
Hmm.
can, you know, do the same stuff. Everyone
Yes.
can
Yeah.
go to the mall together. Everyone can watch a movie together. Everyone can do everything together.
Yes.
The only thing that is still quite extreme in South Africa, for example, is jobs, where
Hmm.
we have now the black economic empowerment thing in South Africa, where only
Hmm.
blacks can get certain positions or jobs, or black people or different colored skinned people, from white people gets the jobs first. Now, this is obviously to empower the black people or the different colored skinned people from white people due to discriminations that happened in the past due to apartheid.
Yes.
Because these are obvious things that's taking place in the whole world, where one race was discriminating against another race. For example, mostly it's the white race that would infiltrate African countries or Indian countries or those kind of countries, and the white people keep benefiting because the white people took over the land, they took over the resources, they took over the wealth, and then their
Hmm.
children keep benefiting from it.
Yes.
Where the black people or different color races was put in lower positions, and even now today they are still suffering under those circumstances.
Hmm. Yes.
So let's take, for example, myself. I was
Hmm.
born into a white family,
Hmm.
but I promise you, I did not sign a contract with whoever is in the afterlife that I want to be white. I didn't
Hmm.
know that, okay, I'm going to be born white this life. Yee-hoo! You know? And I can guarantee you, whoever is a different color than me didn't go, I want to be black. I want to be
Hmm.
Chinese. I want to be
Yeah.
Indian.
Yes.
And here I'm
Exactly.
signing a contract that I'm going to be born as that race.
Hmm.
And I can guarantee you that when I was a little baby, there was no thoughts or pictures or voices in my head that says, you must hate different colored people
Hmm.
because you are
Yeah.
white. I had no idea that I'm white as a baby.
Yes.
Yet,
Exactly.
what is it that I was born with that's different? Because I'm white. I
Hmm.
was born into a community or a society where
Mm-hmm.
white people benefited a lot because
Mm-hmm.
of what the white people did in the past.
Mm-hmm.
So I could have a higher education, I could have a good normal life with all basic needs met. And as a child, I didn't know that I'm having all of these things because I'm white and because of what white people did. And now let's take it to a black family in South Africa. A child is born exactly the same way. They're not
Mm-hmm.
born with the thoughts of hating white people. They're not born with the history of black people, but they are growing up in the consequences of history and what has been done.
Yes.
So now we are sitting currently in the position where racism isn't the problem actually anymore. The problem now is of what racism did.
Yes. Exactly.
All right. So the problem is people are still thinking it's racism,
Mm-hmm.
but we are all the result of what our ancestors did. We're not
Yes.
doing it
Exactly.
anymore. And we
Mm-hmm.
were raised in households where racism was taught,
Mm-hmm.
for example,
Yes. Yeah.
because our fathers and mothers and their fathers and mothers was racist back then, for example. But
Yes.
in
Yeah.
today's society, we cannot say racism is the problem anymore because it's now, as you said, a who's got money, wealth,
Yeah.
and who doesn't have wealth. Yet
Mm-hmm.
now we're blaming each other
Yes.
for you're white, I'm black, or you're that color, and therefore these problems exist.
Yes.
But realistically,
It
I'm
is all
white
about
and I
economic.
cannot change things for you right now
Exactly.
because I'm sitting in the same boat as everyone else. Less
Yeah.
money, same circumstances, so we
Exactly.
cannot play on racism anymore. Racism has become actually quite irrelevant in today's time because now everything is about jobs, everything is about money. And
Yes.
yes, we were born in the circumstances of what racism did create.
Mm-hmm.
But being racist is not going to get us out of that.
No,
I
not at
mean,
all.
we can be as racist as we want. We're just going to end up killing each
Yeah.
other, you know?
Yes. Exact. Yes.
And then who wins? No one.
No. No one's gonna win. That's exactly so. And I had another experience in my life, let's say, growing up, because in my family we were mixed. So it's like 3 generations ago, everybody was mixed, white and Indians and everything. So
Okay.
when I was growing up, and also around me in the county where I was born into, I also saw this mixed thing going on. So it was never really a point like I saw, for example, in other countries where it was more um, in your face, so to speak. People will physically go against each other. They fight, they hurt each other, they kill each other, and all this stuff. So, but in the county where I was born, I didn't see all of that. So we were with kids, and even in our teenage years, just uh, communicated with everybody like we have today. Like things have
Yeah.
changed because of that too. Because I see also that when we come to the topic of becoming more mixed, I see that in the DNA right now they're also finding that most people, especially in the Western countries, most of them are all mixed. So if they go, let's say they want to be racist, so-called racist, they're gonna find if they go to the DNA that they have all the races that they don't like, so to speak, in their own blood. So
Yeah.
it's kind of like yeah, fighting
Yeah, that's
against
pretty cool.
yourself.
We have the same here in South Africa.
Yes.
Because if you look at how South Africa started, mostly with Jan van Riebeeck, who
Yes.
came to South Africa, back then they didn't bring a lot of women with.
Hmm. Yes, of course.
So the men obviously did things that no one can be proud of.
Hmm.
But the children that came from that through having sex with the indigenous people, you
Hmm.
have already back then a mixed
Yeah.
race
Yes, exactly.
that now for over the past 500 years or so
Hmm.
has become society.
Yes, exactly.
You know, everyone has everyone in them.
Exactly.
Even
That's
though you might look white, like I might look white, I might have
yeah.
7% of that, 7% of that. You know,
Yes,
that's
exactly.
why, for instance, my brother is dark skinned, but
Hmm,
my mom and
hmm.
dad is white.
Yes, exactly.
So maybe it's because there is a DNA from a few generations back
Yes,
where someone in the past had a relationship with someone else.
yes, exactly.
So we don't
So
know. And but even if that is the case where everyone is mixed, um, that is just a cool way of looking at. Okay, cool. So I cannot judge. I cannot, discriminate. But even if that didn't exist, we should still not judge or discriminate
yes, exactly.
because it's about who we are. You know, if we close our screens, like our video cameras, and we would be
Hmm.
talking to each other, then who would I be?
Yes, exactly.
Right? Can I be racist right now just because you can't see my skin color?
No.
You know, can I say anything I would like right now? And just because you can't see my skin color, you don't know if to where to place me. Am I racist? Am I not racist? Should I change my accent a little bit? Like, all right, so now we're going to talk a little bit about racism.
Yeah.
Maybe now you can make out that I am from South Africa, and today we're just going to
Hmm.
be speaking about what is happening in South Africa with a lot of the racism going on here. All right. So how do we determine what's racism if we were all blind? You know, who's black, who's white, who's Indian, who's Chinese?
Yes,
What is
exactly.
racism then?
Yes. And all those ethnicities too have been invented to separate us more from each other.
Yeah.
Because we keep on identifying ourselves as these names we have coined up. Uh, so all
I
these,
mean,
the name of
we,
the countries and you name it, all of it.
we can work with theoretical common sense, if you would like to call it that. You know,
Yes, exactly.
if you take 20 babies, and let's say
Hmm.
two of them is white, two is black, two is Indian, two is Chinese,
Yeah.
and two is Japanese, and two is American natives, and two of them are, I don't know how many races there is, but anyway,
Hmm.
and we let all these babies grow up together.
Yes.
I guarantee you that by the time they're 20 and they had
Hmm.
no influence from the outside world, racism will not exist in that group.
Exactly. Yes.
It cannot exist,
Hmm.
all
It
right,
can't.
because they grew up like that. It's normal. There's nothing
Hmm.
strange. There's nothing different. It's through
Yes.
our parents, through education, through keep on repeating history as the spoken word to our
Hmm.
children that we tell them, this is what happened in the past. Those people killed our people. We killed
Yeah.
those people. And that's very sad because it's who the people are in telling it. For example, when I was a small kid here in South Africa, uh,
Hmm.
the white people would brag about how we won wars in
Hmm.
the past against different races.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, and how they tell you that you connect yourself with now white people and now you feel proud because you're like,
Hmm.
my race did that.
Hmm.
You know,
Yeah.
like look how strong we are, look how intelligent we are. And
Yeah.
here you grow up and you make that part of who you are, and suddenly
Hmm.
you look down on other people. You have
Yes.
become this person that isn't you. You've become this,
Mhm.
the thoughts in your mind isn't yours. It's what your parents told you, it's what your grandparents told you, it's what
Mhm.
history has taught you.
Yes.
And the sad thing is now this happens in every household where the
Mhm.
parents will tell stories, the parents will tell history, but it will
Yeah.
always be on their side.
Yes.
And the child who wasn't born with any of this is now taking it
Mm.
on as their own.
Yes. Exactly.
And now they're contaminated for life.
Mhm.
And now they're willing to make wars and kill and slaughter and
Mhm.
blame and justify.
Yes, exactly.
And that's why we can never get to a solution. Because even people in today's society that is born in an equal, I can't call it equal in terms of economics, but equal in terms
Mm-hmm.
of what color you are, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Even everyone today is racist, and there's no reason for it.
No.
Why don't we just see that the real problem is right now money? Yes, we did fuck up in the past. Everyone fucked up
Mm.
in the past. But
Yes.
that past isn't here right now as racism.
No.
The past
No.
right now is here as the economic structures that's been set up, and we need to change that.
Yes. Yes. This is just the outflow of what happened in the past. So
Yeah,
now, and it has also narrowed. How do we say? So let's say a few in the beginning from all this, just let's say 100 people had the power, the resource, and then little by little it became less and less people holding and controlling all those resources. So now it's become very few people who own all of this. So the rest now they say, okay, usually we used to to control just a particular specific group, but now we're going to control everybody. So we're going to just leave everybody, the rest out, and the little group is going to stay with the resources, and this has become the problem in the world. But also within that, I find that because of narrowing everything up and broaden the playing field underneath, is also making people become aware, because then you have just one way and one thing to look at, because the more the more
yeah.
they they gather for themselves, the more everybody else is losing everything. So it's gonna be like, oh, wait a minute, I don't have nothing anymore. So it's gonna be very easy to see it.
Soon
So
we
that's
will, regardless of race, regardless of color, soon we will
yeah.
all sit on the street together,
Yes, exactly.
and we will all wonder, what the fuck?
Yes.
And we will realize through that it's actually never changed. In the past,
Hmm.
the elite simply used racism as a
Hmm.
way to control and divide the people
Yes.
and to get the wealth they want.
Hmm.
Today, because of the new technologies, because of the new social structures, they can
Yes.
use everyone as slaves, regardless
Hmm.
of color.
Yes. Exactly.
And they are making their wealth either way.
Hmm.
It's
Yes.
never changed. All that's changed the dynamics of it, of like, okay,
Yeah.
back in the day, all we had was slaves. Today we have
Mm.
robots.
Yes.
So we'll show everyone
Mm.
that regardless of your color, I can make a slave out of you.
Yes.
I can
Exactly.
make you jobless. I can make you suffer. As long
Hmm.
as the people at the top is making their money.
Yes. Exactly. What
So,
you was, mhm.
yeah, sorry, go on, Larry.
What you were saying also in a few moments ago about people seeing each other, seeing the color of the skin, and because they were taught about this, then they will exert certain feelings and emotions of each other, hating each other, and you name it. However, when I look at people looking at animals, for example, let's say we are looking at dogs. And dogs, they all have different colors, but
Yeah.
everybody can see that they're, they're just dogs. They don't go like, okay, this one belongs. That's really funny.
Yeah, the same with cats.
It's like immediately the picture, because we have changed the picture and we have no connection with dogs being like something we have to hate or whatever. So immediately we accept the whole. It doesn't
Yeah,
matter how the dogs go, it's just dogs.
yeah, and we accept that.
Yes, exactly.
But imagine now tomorrow dogs start being racist. Oh man, what about that poor dog that's black, white, and brown?
Yes.
Oh man, he's not gonna fit in anywhere.
Oh, no, 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 no. Gonna
He's
be
gonna be
very
like, I'm the race of black, white, and brown, and I'm more superior than anyone else around here.
difficult.
Oh,
Yes, but
poor Chihuahuas, they're gonna lose first
yes,
because they
of
look like
course.
little rats.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, so racism in comics. Have you ever
Yes.
experienced racial hate, Larry?
Um, Myself personally, mm, not really. I can't say that I personally experience people like exerting hate towards me because of my race. It's more like um, people not liking me, but that's just um, people having a judgment about somebody else. But I didn't see as something that like hate you because you belong to the black race or whatever. So it wasn't like that. So I never had personally that experience in my life before.
Okay.
So, but I did in my family though. I saw, for example, I had a an uncle, and he was really black. Even his palm of his hand is black. So really, really black. So, and then people will make jokes, but these jokes are so-called jokes. But like people sometimes they want to say something, but they transform it into making a joke out of it, not come as hard as whatever. So and they will say yes. Um, you as black, you should not be how do we call it? Go and sex with people that cannot make the race better. So in other words, you have to have sex with people that will, they say, advance the race. So they like put the blackness have to go down. So
Oh,
and then you have to raise the, you have
oh.
to mix the race. So
Oh,
they
okay, I see. So
literally,
they're telling him that he's a bad color,
yeah, yes.
and then they're telling him that he should go have sex with someone else that can make the color better for the children.
Yes, exactly. Because they were taught that, and in some countries that still exists, in some Western African countries, for example, the women will bleach their skin literally to have more chances to survive in the system, because they know that if you have lighter skin color, means that your chances go a little bit up. So they just do that, with the consequences, of course, that they will have skin cancer.
Well, they should just come to South Africa because we have a BEE here,
Yeah.
which is the Black Empowerment, Economic Empowerment. So the more black, the better here,
Hmm.
and the less black, the worse for you.
Yes.
So maybe we should just switch countries according to.
Sweet. Sweet. Yes. Yes. Yes.
But yeah,
And
it's
that's
very sad though that humans are stuck in such situations because of racism.
mm-hmm.
I mean, if you can, everyone should maybe just go blind in the world,
Mm-hmm.
and we might even confuse gorillas for people,
Yeah.
just to show us how extent our judgment goes, not just against our own race as the human race, but against all life on Earth.
Yes.
Because if the whole human population has to be blind, we'll suddenly help each other. We'll suddenly not care about who's what color or from where, and we will just focus on getting things done and helping and supporting each other because you're fucking blind.
Yes.
You know,
Exactly.
maybe we should all just go blind.
Yeah, that would be a great idea.
Maybe we should
Yeah.
make a poisonous gas that makes the world go blind, and everyone would be like, "Oh, I can't
Yes.
help you because I don't know what color you are, but I do need help. Please, someone help me. But you have to be white. I don't know who's white. Please help me. Or anyone that's black, please bleach your skin first before you help me because I can't see." Racism has been so blown out of proportion by media as well. If you
Yes.
look at how in stories and movies it is very symbolic,
Hmm.
where they place characters as heroes or they place in scenes who's black and who's white.
Hmm.
You know,
Yes.
and it's specific because the elite knows that as long as there is something dividing the people, then they can
Hmm.
conquer the people. As long
Yes,
as
exactly.
people are hating each other based on the most stupidest thing, then we can never
Mm-hmm.
stand together and change this world.
Yes, exactly.
And that's working very effectively in South Africa because one thing that is strongly connected to racism is someone that's very uneducated.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So when you look at someone that's very uneducated, people use racism to build up energy, to build
Mm.
up rallies,
Yeah.
supporters, to
Mm-hmm.
vote for them or to get what they want to get.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and you can see this all over the world. People as racist aren't usually the most clever people
Mm-hmm. It's
because they're
true.
still seeing just on the surface of things, which is your skin color.
Yes.
They're unable to look deeper.
Yes, exactly. They're in
And
the reactionary state, so it's very easy to convince them when they are in the reactionary state.
yeah, and
So
I've also watched recently a couple of documentaries. I cannot remember the name. I found them by accident on my laptop that was placed there by a friend, and
mm-hmm.
it's about these professors in America. They're all black professors, and
Mm-hmm.
they are in these documentaries convincing
Mm-hmm.
everyone that, for example, black people used to be the Egyptians,
Yes,
you know,
yes, yes.
and they used to be the Buddhas, and
Yes, yeah.
they are also showing how black people used to be all over the world. You know, they used
Yes,
to
yeah.
travel everywhere. They used to be everywhere,
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
you know, it's kind of trying to uplift the what has been done to the people in the past
Mm-hmm.
to show them that you are more than what you were taught you were.
Yes, yes.
This is the feeling I get from these documentaries. So it's just
Mm-hmm.
creating, for example, another polarity.
Exactly.
You know, it's not bringing a solution to show people like, oh look,
Mm-hmm.
6,000 years ago you built pyramids and you know ancient structures that's still standing today, even though you were
Mm-hmm.
enslaved 100 years ago and someone made you you know work as a slave and die as a slave.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's no point to try and polarize any situation because once you start polarizing, you're just creating more hate, you're just creating more resentment, you're just creating more separation between people. So
Yes.
instead of learning from history, we're trying to use history to justify our actions
Mm-hmm.
currently.
Yes.
And that's a very big problem we're facing in the world as well, especially when you have professors coming together and making
Mm-hmm.
such claims. And now you
Yes.
have young people that is the future of this world watching
Mm-hmm.
it and being brainwashed by it and going, you're right.
Yeah.
I'm
Mm-hmm.
supposed to be superior. I'm supposed to be unique. But look
Mm-hmm.
what they have done to me. Now I shall do it to them
Yes.
to take back my superiority and my uniqueness.
Mm-hmm.
What we all need to learn is that we come from a womb of a mother,
Mm-hmm.
and that's it.
Yes.
And now you have to deal with the present, what's
Yes.
existing here, not your race, not your color, but now everything is economic. Everything is now
Mm-hmm.
about wealth, survival.
Yes,
For
exactly.
example,
Mm-hmm.
Larry, you are dark skinned,
Mm-hmm.
and I am, well, I can't call it white. You know, white is completely
Yeah,
different
white
from my
is.
skin color. My teeth is white,
Yes.
all right? Call me kind of, I don't know.
Mm.
What do you call this color? Do you know?
Yeah. Pink reddish.
Reddish.
Pink reddish.
Okay, so
Uh,
if we all
mm,
look at how things actually work in
mm-hmm,
terms of skin, let's go back to just a second before we were created in our
mm-hmm,
mother's womb.
mm-hmm.
Can you remember where you were, Larry, just before you became the first
First,
fetus?
no.
Okay, so were you dark
Mm,
skinned, white? What color were you before you were born?
exactly. No colors at all.
No colors at all. Okay,
Because
So now you are born into this world into a skin, and this
Mhm.
skin has a color.
Yes.
So how do you, according to your skin and color, associate your life with the history of everyone else that has the same skin and color as you? If where you came from was not from the
Not.
history, but from some heaven place or dimensions where you
Hmm.
had no color.
Yeah.
So shouldn't we associate our history then with dimensions?
Yes, exactly.
You know, because before you were born, you weren't black, white, pink, yellow, you weren't any color. So why are we now associating who we are according to our colors when obviously when you
Hmm.
die, you lose that color?
Yes, exactly.
And then what are you going to tell God or whoever is on the other side? Hey, what color are you? I was black or white. And, you know, I defended, I fought for my color. And then when God or whoever gives you a mirror and says, "Oh, what color are you now?" And you're like, "I can't see. There's no color." And he says,
Yes,
"So who did you defend?
mm,
Who did you
exactly.
fight for?"
Yes.
You know, it's really ridiculous to see commonsensically racism makes no sense for yourself.
No,
The only thing that is sad is that it still influences our lives today because of what people did in the past.
exactly.
But we can only by stopping racism and focusing on what's here and the current
Hmm.
problems and together fix it.
Yeah. Yes. That is the only way out.
The
Together.
only way. I was just now looking at another point,
Uh-huh.
but I can't remember. So, Larry, I'm going to ask if you have anything more that you want to share on racism today. On our let's discuss or talk about racism.
Mm, I also wanted to to add that this that racism this does when um, it started with what what became or what was then the commercializing of black people. So they started to make them slaves and then commercialize them, using them uh, as commodities one can buy and sell. And from there, they started creating certain systems, and these systems then were translated and became what now has become um, capitalism.
Hmm.
So, by the very fact that all of that happened, so capitalism is now um, the god, so to speak, of separation. Because there is no way in capitalism that we're going to get uh, ourselves together. We have to uh, get rid of the laws and the rules that have make capitalism what it is today, and then we can transform.
So you're saying that capitalism was directly created from an actual slave system.
Yes, as racism when it was done with the commercializing of slaves and what they have done in the past, changing laws because they didn't want the slaves to have anything. They just wanted them as to be the labor force, free labor force. And then from there on, they saw, hey, wait a minute, I can make a lot of money of that from that. So making people labor for me, and I just keep on getting wealthy. And they started to implement laws, and also they started using social engineering, telling the slaves, for example, that they have to protect the masters. They have to if they come up with any invention that's new, they have to bring it, and all of that with the so-called reward that they will become free. But in actuality, they didn't really become free because everything was owned around them.
Yeah.
It's more like you're a fugitive. So all of that then became slowly but surely what we have today as capitalism.
So today, instead of being slaves working by a whip, they have
Yeah,
invented a better way for people to be freely slaves,
yes, exactly.
where the whip is money.
Yes, it's not people cannot say I'm forced anymore.
Yes.
Yeah,
But in a way,
voluntarily.
people can still say I am forced because a lot of us don't want to do what we're doing.
Yes, yes, yes. That's true.
But because there's money and blah, 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 and I can buy stuff with my money, I'm not a slave.
Yes, exactly.
And you're a slave for longer. You can now be a slave for 60 years instead of just 12 or
Yeah, yeah,
13.
yeah. Huh. Yes, exactly.
All right, so I see we
Hmm.
have 3 viewers plus ourselves.
Hmm.
So while we have
Okay.
those 3 viewers captured and hypnotized to the screen, 4 viewers, let's ask the
Hmm.
viewers for comments, perspectives, or anything that they would like to add. I'm going to activate the Q&A right now. So please, anyone that has a question, anyone that has a perspective, let us see this. I am activating the Q&A right now. Keep saying the feature is not activated.
Hmm.
Can anyone post a question? Can we ask that someone please try and post a question so we can see if it is working? This feature is disabled.
Hmm. What is that?
Larry, can you see if you can do any Q&A on your side?
Let me see. On my side, it says the same thing. This feature is disabled. Hmm.
Okay. We
Have a problem.
seem to have a Q&A problem. I don't know why.
No.
All right, sorry everyone. If you have a question or perspective, you can leave that on the YouTube video that will be posted after this in the comment section, where we can answer the questions or see the perspectives that people have on racism. Please let the comments be constructive, common sense. We don't have time for racists, so please, if you're racist, just leave, and you can go deal with yourself.
Hmm.
All right. Thank you very much. I think that is all for tonight's chat
See.
on what is racism. I have one last just came to me perspective. Look at
Mhm.
racism this way. If you're aware of what reincarnation is, then
Hmm.
this is another perspective you can consider. What if you were in your past life a different race and that you were actually the person putting the race that you are now in the situation that you are in now?
Mhm.
Do you see what I'm saying? For example, what if
Yes.
I was a black person in my previous life or a Chinese person
Hmm.
or and I created the things that's here today and now I'm stuck in it?
That's a
Because let me tell you, that's probably how it does work.
hmm.
Because remember, we're always one and equal to what we have created. and we will always face what we have created. So it's
Mhm.
most likely that I was a black person in my previous life that was a
Mhm.
slave and abused and so on. And now here I am, and I have to now face the white people
Mhm.
as myself.
Yes.
And I have to stop racism as a white person.
Mhm.
I have
Exactly.
to take responsibility. So if you
Mhm.
don't know what reincarnation is, go search up what's reincarnation and see how that works. Because this also empowers you currently to see forgiveness and to
Mhm.
forgive yourself, to realize that you could have been the slave, the master. You could have been any of those people
Mhm.
in the past. And
Yes.
who you are right now is to live the correction and stop being those characters, those people from the past. We must stop being slaves. We must stop being masters. We must start seeing each other as equals as what we are in fact.
Mhm.
When you close your eyes, it's no color,
Yeah.
all
Exactly.
right? That's how real it is.
Exactly.
So support yourself. No racist thoughts, no backchat, no judgment, no discrimination. And let's work together as beings.
Mhm.
And let's change this world system to a place that's best for everyone.
Exactly.
All right. Thank you very much, Larry, for having me here.
Thank you,
I
Gian, for
really enjoyed
having
the
me.
PowerPoint presentation. And I'm so sorry
Thank
about the comment section or the Q&A section not working. It is against our best interest.
you.
So, Larry, do you have any last words and a goodbye?
Mm, I have one small thing, or big, depends how one wants to see it. Also, regarding race, that we all can see, even if we do not use our common senses, that we all have life, and the life we have in within ourselves is not really busy with the skin color that we have outside. It's just busy giving itself lives, so the bodies can express themselves in whatever color the body is. So to the life in the body itself, as the body, it doesn't care about the color of the body.
So it's like breathing. The air doesn't choose what color it's going to support.
Exactly.
It just goes in your mouth or in your nose
And that's it.
and it says, I support you.
Exactly.
All right, cool, Larry.
Okay, yeah.
Thank you,
Thank you.
everyone. Take care.
Okay.
Enjoy the evening.
Okay, bye bye everybody. Thank you.
Bye bye.
Hey, bye bye.